Hello, everyone. Well, I don't know where you live, but where I live, it certainly has felt like fall this past week. Though temperatures have become cooler, I'm even noticing some changes in the colors of the leaf and some acorns all over. And it's exciting because fall is certainly my favorite season. This book is called Leif in the Fall. And I want to point out the title is kind of interesting because this spelling of leaf, L-E-I-F, is a name. It's a popular Scandinavian name. And it also is pronounced the same way you pronounce a leaf. Leif and leaf. So that's kind of a clever thing that we have a leaf named Leif. So it says Leif in the Fall, which is written by Allison Sweet Grant and Adam Grant and illustrated by Merrilee Liddiard. Let's find out what Leif does in the fall. So we got a bunch of leaves on our front cover with acorns. Got kind of a worried looking leaf on this title page, huh? And leaf with some friends, tree friends on that dedication page. Leif is a leaf, a small green leaf with browning edges who lives in a big oak tree. The breeze is blowing harder, Leif says to himself. The days are getting shorter. It's nearly fall. Leif knows that in the fall, leaves fall from the trees, and Leif is worried. I never thought about that. I think if I was a leaf, I might feel a little worried about falling from a tree too. Leif is noticing that the changes in the season are saying it's fall, and he knows what happens in fall. Yep. I don't want to bump my head, Leif says to his friend Laurel. I don't want to skin my knee. I do not want to fall. Let's figure out a way for you to catch yourself, Laurel says. Oh, what a great friend. No, I didn't get to quite point out. Looks like Laurel is from a nearby tree. She's a different kind of leaf. And she's got a great idea. Let's figure out a way for you to catch yourself. All leaves fall in the fall, the other leaves say. And I think they're saying it a little bit kind of mocking, saying, Leif, this is what we do. We fall. But I like Laurel's idea. Let's explore it a little more. Leif is determined, and with Laurel's help, he comes up with a plan. The next day, Leif and Laurel gather twigs to build a net. Now you can use the net to catch yourself, Laurel says. Oh, great idea. If there's a net, then that would catch the leaf from falling all the way to the ground. I wonder if they were inspired by the birds. Kind of looks almost like a nest, doesn't it? Great idea. But the holes in the net are too big and Leif is too small. He would slip right through. Leif tosses the net to the ground below. Didn't work. You're wasting your time, the other leaves say. All leaves fall in the fall. How do you think that would make Leif feel? I don't know. But Leif comes up with another plan. This time, Leif and Laurel gather vine to secure Leif to his branch. No matter how strong the winds blow, you'll be able to hang on, Laurel says. So they kind of wrap them up, almost like using the vine like a rope. I wonder if they were inspired a little bit by a spider's web, maybe. See if that works. But Leif accidentally wraps himself up too tight. Help, he cries. I'll get you out, Laurel says, and hurries to help Leif wriggle free. Leif tosses the vine to the ground below. You're wasting your time, the other leaves say. All leaves fall in the fall. Excuse me. Another plan that didn't work. Good try, though. But Leif comes up with yet another idea, or another plan. This time, Leif and Laurel build a kite out of bark and moss. You can soar your way and land in a nice soft patch of grass, Laurel exclaims. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? But the tail of the kite gets tangled in the branches and Leif ends up going nowhere at all. He tosses the kite to the ground below. What do you think the leaves are going to say? Yep. You're wasting your time. The other leaves say, all leaves fall in the fall. I bet Leif is feeling kind of frustrated. He's come up with some pretty good plans, but none of them have worked yet. But still, Leif tries again. A swing, a trampoline, a parachute. Leif tries everything he can think of. So we've got a swing, trampoline, parachute, using a spider's web, it looks like. And, oh, yep, the parachute got stuck just like the tail of the kite. Bummer. But none of the ideas quite work, and they all end up tossed on the ground below. I'm noticing, where do all Leif's bad or ideas that don't work end up? On the ground below. I'm seeing that pattern. Leif hangs from his branch, feeling very disappointed. Laurel is sad too. You had lots of good ideas, Laurel says. Yeah. If anything, Leif is a very creative leaf. We told you, taunt the other leaves. You were just wasting your time. All leaves fall in the fall. Who do you think had a nicer response? A response that really would make Leif feel better. His friend Laurel, who said, I'm sorry it didn't work. You had good ideas. Or the other leaves that said, we told you so. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to hear that, does it? They're not being very nice, are they? Days pass. The air grows cooler. The wind blows stronger. Leif's edges turn browner. Leaves fall in the fall, he thinks, and he feels as if he has failed. That is not a good feeling, is it? Leif hangs from his branch, shivering and afraid. Laurel gives him a squeeze. There he is. Sounds more and more like this fall is gonna happen soon, right? It's becoming later and later in the season. All of a sudden, the wind churns, the branches shake, and with one large, cold blast, Leif can hang on no longer, and Leif falls. The very thing he's so afraid of is happening now. Right into a pile of his discarded ideas. Remember how Leif kept throwing everything down below when it didn't work? Well, he inadvertently made himself a nice place to land, didn't he? All the moss and the webs and the net and the vines. Wow. All of the ideas that Leif threw away, the ones he tossed to the ground because he thought they never work, made a structure tall enough and strong enough to stand on. Leif could not believe his eyes. He stands up and smiles. Wow. It wasn't a waste of time after all. It helped him all in the end. And he grabs Laurel's hand, and together they walk right to the ground below. Because she was always a good support for him, wasn't she? And now, looks like the other leaves are probably thankful for Leif's ideas too, as they fall on his nice soft patch. Wow, oh, and look how different the leaves look on this back cover from the front cover. Front cover, they're still green. Well, now they've turned a beautiful orangish red. I thought that was a really lovely book and a good reminder that our mistakes help us even when we don't feel like it. Even when we feel like we've failed and we've just got a pile of mistakes and things that didn't work out. You know what? You might not land on them physically, but those things have built you up to become who you are. As you learn how to draw better, you have a whole pile of drawings you thought were bad. But those drawings, they helped you become a better artist. The books you read that you struggled with and the words that were hard to read, well, as you learned to read them, they helped you become a better reader and a better writer. So maybe if we look at our mistakes a little bit differently, our struggles a little bit differently as something that's helping us, we can appreciate them and sort of feel like, no, this isn't a failure. I'm not a failure. These are just building blocks to where I want to go. I want to be a better artist. I want to be a better reader. I want to be better at math. I want to be better at science. And I'm going to make mistakes along the way. That's for sure. But those mistakes, they're not something I have to be ashamed of or have to hide away. Those things have helped me. They helped me become the better learner, the better person that I am now. And I bet you, as I was reading this, I was thinking about the authors. And I can tell you one thing. This book that I'm holding in my hands today was not their first try at this book. I bet you they wrote it many, many, many times. They had to draw the pictures over and over again until they got it just the way they wanted. And I'm talking about grown-ups. Yeah, because grown-ups are still learning too. I bet you they have many, many versions of this book before they got to the one that they said, this is the one. This is the one. This is the story we want to tell. And this is the book we want to put out. But I bet you there were dozens of other copies of this book that they changed, didn't like, tried to try again on their way to getting to this fabulous book. And so if you're struggling with something, keep trying because something fabulous awaits you. Well, thanks for reading and learning with me. I hope you have a terrific day. See you soon.